I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to come out and listening and learning about our candidates. As a chamber, it is our responsibility to keep the city and everyone informed, and we try our best to do that so that you can make good choices when you go to the vote. So, again, thank you for being here. So, I'm going to ask, before we get started, that Patrick Flynn, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
Would everyone stand, please?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, President. Also, tonight I have Connie Christensen. I hope I pronounced that right, Connie. And Connie will be working our timer. And everyone will get a certain amount of time to answer a question. It will be 3 minutes to answer the question, and 4 minutes for your intro. Connie, when you start your question, we'll turn on the green light. When you get about 2 minutes into it, she'll turn on the yellow light. And when she turns on the red light, it's all over. So anyway, I'll also introduce to you our moderator tonight is Dr. Kim Williams. She is the Dean of the South Campus here at Grayson. And I'm going to turn it over to you now. Thanks again, everyone, for taking the time to come out. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. I don't really need this, but I've had people complain before, so I will use this. I used to have a long time coaching, so I've got a voice for that. But welcome, candidates. I believe that we're going to start with our school board, and I believe we only have one person here representing the school board. Is that right? Please correct me. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. And that is actually the first question is please take a few moments to introduce yourself. There's a microphone right there. There's a switch on the top. If you'll move it off of mute and speak into the mic and introduce yourself to these good people.
Okay. Well, hello, my name is Kurt Lamar. I am happily married to my wife Robin of 26 plus years now. Raise your hand. All right. We moved here 21 years ago. I grew up in Garland. I grew up in Garland, and we lived in Carrollton for a little while, but we wanted kind of a small town, more family-oriented place to raise our kid. And we, drove into Van Alstyne. We looked in Melissa. We looked in a lot of places, and this really was kind of an obvious choice for us. So we settled here. Our 3 kids, Lauren, Mason, and Bryce, went through all their schooling here, starting in kindergarten. They're all graduated as of last year. I was told I have to mention our adopted son now, Daniel, adopted by marriage. But at times during their schooling, we saw just awesome teachers and awesome people in this community that were really a blessing to us and just helping us raise them, and that meant a lot to me. And as we went through phases where some of our maybe our schools weren't performing quite as well as like we went through a phase where our high school had an unacceptable rating. And at the time, maybe for just a half a second, I said, gee, should we put our kids in, a private school? Should we do something different? And that thought quickly went out because there was just never a second, not a full second, that we wanted our kids anywhere different because of the teachers that we had in this school district. And, it seemed clear to me that I also needed to be, a participant in that, so I volunteered, to run for school board, and that was 6 years ago. So I've been the board president 3 years, secretary 1 year. We had a lot of state cuts, I think in 2011. I'm going to introducing myself as a license, but I'll give you my speech more about what a great district is. Like in 2011, the state cut like $5.4 billion from our schools. We had the growth that we had projected when we built the football stadium, and some of that, like the $10 million bond, didn't happen. That basically meant more money was going into the facilities, and it wasn't coming in because we didn't have enough students. So it was quite a challenge for our administration and then ultimately for our teachers to make the progress they have over the last 6 years to really turn this into a district that people are coming here because they want our schools, they want their kids in our schools. And that's a lot different than maybe 5 or 6 years ago when there were people, moving their kids over to Gunter or somewhere else because they thought those were better places. And I'm really just, I don't get it. I don't deserve, one iota of credit for that, but it's been neat to watch the way the teachers and stuff handle our challenges. What else? I don't know. But anyway, I'm working, I had a 20-year engineering career. Now I'm working in kind of a property investment company in Sherman, and I'm just thankful to be here and looking forward to serving 3 more years for our school district and our community.
Okay, so we have some scripted questions. We're putting you on the spot.
Do all of
We're gonna let you just have your 15 minutes of fame right here at the beginning.
Okay.
And you've hit on some of these questions, but I'm
Okay.
gonna give you these questions, and if there's something else that you wanna add to what you've already presented, then please feel free during your time that Connie is going to give you. So the next question, what is your experience with public education, and how have these experiences led you to run for the school board?
Well, my mom was a teacher. That was my first experience with public education. She was a lifelong teacher in Garland. When your mom teaches at the high school you go to, you learn more about the education system than you want to. But she went through that, and for me, the interest in education was really not specifically, obviously, paying off the time, but when I look back, especially as my kids, maybe when they get to middle school ages, and I realize they don't want to listen to me anymore, but they have teachers and coaches that they're all of a sudden looking up to. It made me reflect back on the people in my life that really meant something to me. Obviously, your immediate family is the most important, but I had a lot of coaches and a lot of teachers that they were my role models. And so looking back, I wanted to be in a spot where I could support those people to the best of my ability. And at this stage, with all my kids gone and all that, the school board was the only place I know to do that.
Okay. What recent successes for Van Alstyne ISD are you the most proud of? And what are your priorities for the coming year and why?
For the school district itself, I think just the pride, the academic progress, and seeing the results of what the teachers have had to go through during some of the hard times is probably what I would like to answer from a district. From a school board perspective, one of the things that's very important is having a sort of an overall vision of where the district is going and keeping unity amongst the leadership, if you will, that we're all on the same page on how we get there. Because anytime there's things where somebody thinks we're going a little bit left, somebody else thinks we're going right, it doesn't take long before people start hearing, well, the board said this, and so-and-so on the board doesn't like that, and you just get little grumblings. But we really, thanks largely to Dr. Speeds and his vision, his hard work, we've really kept all on the same page, and that has minimized distractions from, really attacking the problems and building the district the way we wanted over the last 6 years. And I take pride in that. It's one of those things that if you do it right, nobody really even notices. It's kind of subtle, but just unity of vision was important over the last 6 years, and I think we did a pretty good job of that.
Just firing these right at you. In your opinions, are there projects or opportunities for Van Alstyne ISD and the city of Van Alstyne to work together in partnership in the future? And if so, what would you like to see?
I don't know that I'd be able to tell you any specific projects that I think are, right on the forefront of what's important to the district, but there's always places with maintenance and facilities that we should be working together, and I think we are, to the extent that's reasonable, where we can share resources for whether it's people or facilities. And I think between Dr. Spees and the city manager and some other people, they have those discussions to make sure we're doing that to the, like I said, to the extent it makes sense.
With the growth of Van Alstyne, so comes the need for new schools. Do you feel the district is prepared for both short-term and long-term growth?
I think the short term, we just finished the, pretty much on time and, within budget, the expansion at the high school and the elementary. I guess I'll sidetrack it a little bit because I think I have plenty of time. But part of the, there's growth, and part of that, if you followed the bonds and what we did, people probably know that some of the added classrooms, we turned them into tornado shelters. But there is a safety aspect to some of this too, and one thing that's probably been forgotten that, probably 2012, we had a school shooting up in Connecticut, and that was a big deal here. It seems like a long time ago, but so over time we've done a lot of things to make our schools safer, and that has us in a good position now where we have a nice baseline, a nice foundation in our facilities to get ready for the next step. And yeah, there's probably in this 3-year term, we'll be, I don't know if we'll be done, but we'll be well on our way to having to have a new elementary school. How you pay for that is always a question. Eventually, the growth in students that will fill that school will largely pay for it. The first couple of years, it's going to be, kind of tight. But we've increased our fund balance by, that's kind of, I wouldn't call it extra money, but let's just call it available funds. Over the 6 years, I think we have 89% more than we had 5 or 6 years ago in fund balance, which is nice. That's a nice buffer for any shortcomings you may have, like say for a year when you're building an elementary school. So, and again, Dr. Spees and Dr. Brown, our staff that works at it, is the ones to be able to credit, but they've got us in it, especially with the budget cuts I've already mentioned, they got us in a great position for that growth we expect to come. I think some of the new things that we think are coming online for new businesses and stuff, depending on the timing, that's going to help a great deal. We've refinanced a lot of our debt, a lot of our bonds. We're being blessed, if you will, by the lower interest rates. That's helped a lot to kind of overcome the shortcomings we had in the student growth, like I mentioned about when we built the stadium and stuff. We're in very good shape. There might be a couple of years where it's going to be a little lean. We might have to tap into that operating fund balance that's there. But if things happen the way they're scheduled to for new businesses and the student growth, I think we'll be okay.
He's been so long-winded, we have hardly any time for questions.
I got the yellow light.
We did have planned Q&A, so we will take a couple of questions from the audience. If anybody has a specific question that we did not get answered this evening. Mr. Cooper?
I just wonder, what is the figure for the average growth that you've seen from schools over the last few years, if there is such a figure?
It's a good question. I'm not going to be able to give you a precise answer. I think this last year we saw 5% growth. I'm not seeing Dr. Brown or anybody doing like this, so I'm not sure if that's right. But the trend, now he's just lying. The trend is kind of the thing we're going to have to watch, because when the economy kind of went a little south, in whatever 2008, 2009, we lost students, and then we started back up. I don't know if that 5% will stay linear, or if it's going to be 8% next year and 15 year after that. We'll just have to watch it, but it's growing fast enough that those guys watch it on a monthly basis. They report the number of students in the district, so they've got triggers where they're going to say, at this point, and we're maybe past a few of those where we're taking some of the first steps, but we've got to start talking about a new elementary school. But I think 5% was what I remember from the prior school year to this year. And it's gone up a number of students since then, but I don't know that exact number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm Karen Toiber, and my question is about Common Core. How involved is our school district in Common Core? Are we using it or have we rejected it? And how's the ESSA and the different things being involved in our school district?
Yeah, I'm not the person who's going to give a real good answer on that. I'm not familiar if we're using Common Core or not. I'm sorry, I could defer that to people in the audience. But I didn't think we were basing all of our lesson plans on that. But that's not my expertise. Is there more of a layman's way you can ask that question and I can give you a better answer, or is that about as simple as you can?
It's about as simple
All right,
because the question is, are we using Common Core or are we not?
Does somebody else want to help me that might know our curriculum better?
We are not.
Okay.
You are not.
It's just a little Texas.
No, it isn't. It's being used in schools in Texas along with,
Never being used. We are not allowed to use it. So we are not using it.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry, we have one more question.
I was just wondering if you have some idea about the rate of teacher turnover in the house. How is that? Are we able to retain the teachers that we have or losing them?
Yeah, good question. We probably 4 or 5 years ago, we had a lot more turnover than you would like to see, and I think a lot of that came with just the cuts and administration change, and we were, our administration was tasked by the school board to, right the ship, if you will. We had some academic performance and discipline issues that we needed to fix, and they did an outstanding job. Dr. Spies, again, and it's not just Dr. Spies, but he's our main point of contact, so I say him, which really means the administration, the entire district. They've kept a focus on increasing teacher salaries, and despite the cuts I mentioned earlier, I looked up a number not too long ago, like the 5-year teacher, the teacher who's been in our school district 5 years, let me figure out how to say that. I'm going to have to say 5 years too many times. If you took a teacher with 5 years tenure, say when I got on the board versus today, that teacher would make 23% more now. So, and that's not counting their normal progression. Now that 5-year teacher's a tenure, I'm not talking about that. Just a 5-year teacher, we've increased teacher salaries, I think every year, especially at the younger teachers, and that's just because we weren't competitive at the younger stages. I think our older teachers, not by age, but our more tenured teachers that are 20, 30-year teachers, I think they're making maybe 10% more now. But that's really helped us to not lose the best teachers to places like Frisco or Plano, where they do have more money. We're now competitive with them and very competitive in Grayson County. And I think we're keeping the top teachers now. That's my opinion. It's not going to be, of course, 100% true. People will have other reasons to leave, but I don't think we're losing a lot of teachers just because they're chasing money down south.
Thank you very much for being here this evening, and also I think he deserves a round of applause for serving. So that concludes the school board portion of our meeting candidates evening. So now I think we will move on to city council. Basically the same format. Connie will show you the time. I will have the hook ready if you don't hush when it turns red. Okay, so we're going to start the same way, and we'll just start here on this end. So pass that mic down. And the first question is just please take a few moments to introduce yourself.
So my name is Brad Clough, and I work in sales and help my customers out in consulting capacity in the hospitality and healthcare industries. Some of the things I help my customers with are helping them manage their environmental safety code compliance problems, as well as helping my customers by finding solutions and programs that will benefit their bottom line and retain customers. I have a bachelor's degree in hospitality management from the University of North Texas. I am TCEQ licensed water treatment specialist class 3. My wife is Jordan, been married to her since 2008. She's from Van Alstyne, graduated in 2000 something, I don't know. And we moved here as a family in 2012 out in the ETJ, inside city limits in 2014. We have 2 little girls, Mia is 4 and he was 22 months. When I got Jason been around, I volunteer my time at the First Baptist Church, where in the past I served on the worship praise team, playing bass guitar, and about a year ago we were blessed to have another gentleman step up into that role who is far better than I am at that. So I've really had the opportunity to move over to where my heart for service is, and that's with the youth. And so Sunday mornings I teach Sunday school with the junior high boys, and then serve as a mentor and a small group leader on Wednesday nights.
Whenever you're ready, she's going to start.
Lights green. I'm Paul Nobles, and that's my wife, Kiri, and probably most of you already know us from the coffee shop. But we own Kiri's Coffee Co. in downtown Van Alstyne on the square, and I am a business consultant, web guy. We've been working and living in Grayson County in North Texas for the last 6 years. Kiri was a general manager of Dunkin' Donuts for 5 years, and that's why your coffee is so good. And I have been a web and marketing guy for the last 15 years, and I've been involved with a lot of startup companies. I sit on many boards in town over the last few years we've been here. I am, and I hate to do this but it's really all about like sort of we have done a lot for the community with regards to the different boards that we work with. Keep Van Alstyne Beautiful, the Parks Board, the Chamber of Commerce. Really it all started with trying to get a little recognition for the coffee shop, honestly. And some people started saying, hey, you should come join us over here, come join us over there. So we got really involved, and fortunately I was able to take her out of her 50-hour, 60-hour-a-week job to work at the coffee shop, and so it really allowed us to have a lot more time together. And so, we are pretty much committed to the community and 100% in everything we do. A lot of it has to do with Kiri because she's sort of the backbone behind me, keeping me in line. But I think that my real goals for the town, I think that are really just kind of continuing the awesome path that we're currently on. I think that we're doing a fantastic job right now, and I think we've just, we both applied for an open seat at the same time, and so we're sort of against each other. I think that we just kind of have a little bit different visions for what we like to see the town go, and I think that I just have more experience with the leadership of the different organizations and working well with them. So there's no real leading as customer. We're pretty good. So I love the town, and I think that Kiri has stepped up a lot here recently as president of the Keep Van Alstyne Beautiful. And we've done a lot. We've raised a lot of money for the town, and I think we'd like to continue on that track.
No one in the room knows this one's coming.
Hello, everyone. Robert Chaska. My wife Kelly and I and our family moved here to Van Alstyne in 2007. Came to work here at Texas Star Bank. I've been working in banking for 30 years. This is my third stop and hopefully my last one. We love Van Alstyne. My primary function there at the bank is I'm over financial accounting, risk management, and compliance. We came to Van Alstyne. We have 5 children and 4 grandchildren, and another grandchild on the way in June. My 2 youngest kids have come up through the Van Alstyne school system. Reed is a senior this year, and Russ is in his second year at Grayson. We came to, my wife and I, when we were moving down here from Durant, I lived in Sherman, Durant, and Van Alstyne. I'll also say, please don't hold this against me, I graduated from Tom Dean High School. You know, in looking at the little towns when we moved back down in this area, Van Alstyne was the most attractive to us. It was a bigger city or town. It's growing into a city. We saw a lot of potential here in the city. It had a good school system, and the school system has just gotten better and better each year that we've been here. I serve on several boards here in town. I know a lot of faces here in the audience. I enjoy participating in the community, serving our community. We feel truly blessed to be a part of this city, and I came on the council to serve an unexpired term 2 years ago, and I've served 1 term. This is my 2nd term, and I've been fortunate that I don't have to campaign much. But you know, I try to use my financial strengths and knowledge of the community to help make the wisest decisions on behalf of the city. I truly believe that this is a good town. It is blessed by God, and all the people here I consider my friends. And I stand ready to do anything and everything to help anyone and to take care of this city as if it was, you know, a gift. And I think that's what we need to do is everyone work together. That doesn't say we can't have differing opinions, but our focus should be on what is best for Van Alstyne and the citizens of Van Alstyne. And you know, 2 years ago, when I was up here at this table, we were talking about the growth is on the way. And you know, you hear whether it's you know, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Well, in 2 years, it's gotten here pretty quick. And we're seeing the housing developments come up. That's going to increase our population. It's also going to increase our need for the schools, as we've heard. And you know, right now the burden is on the financial burden is on the existing citizens, the taxpayers in Van Alstyne, and really quick.
Hurry.
Yes, the goal should be to bring industry in to increase our sales tax revenue so that we can relieve some of the burden off the citizens of Van Alstyne.
Okay, for this next round, and what we'll do for the following rounds is, now, Paul, you'll go first, and then Robert will be second, and Brad will go third, and then we'll just rotate it that way, so we don't always have the same person going first. Does that make sense? So you'll go first on this question. Okay, please give 2 reasons why you are running for city council, and please tell us what makes you qualified to serve on the council.
The first reason is that I love this town and all of the businesses and the people that I've met in this town since I moved here, and I've lived in a lot of places. I've never lived anywhere that had this much love in the town. And I think the business community works really well together. And I've got a lot of friends and a lot of business clients here, and I'm just very happy to be here. I think that the primary qualification is the amount of time that I have to dedicate to the town. I am, I work for myself. I own a coffee shop that closes at noon. So I think that's probably one of the top reasons why I'm qualified to do it. I think that the really number 2 reason is that I really have my finger on the pulse of the growing Van Alstyne business community. I have 28 clients, business and nonprofits that I do work for in Van Alstyne. To our Van Alstyne clients, I also have 59 total clients in North Texas and in Oklahoma, and so I have a lot of business sense that I can bring to the table. I know when businesses are doing well, I can share that information with other businesses. When businesses make different decisions that may not be so good, I can share that information as well. So primarily, I have my finger on the pulse of the growing business community, and I think that there's right now we're going in a really great direction with regards to what we've been doing over the last few years, and I'd like to continue going in that direction. And I think that we've got a lot of great representation for the different sectors of what's needed in City Hall. But I think that we are missing the business perspective from a downtown business owner who has multiple clients on the square or in the city limits and in the ETJ. So I really understand what they're asking for, and they actually asked me to run to represent them. So that's really the primary qualification and my main goal of helping the business community to have their voice on city council. Oh, sorry. We don't need to turn it down. Do you remember the question?
No, I was going to keep you restate real quick.
Please give 2 reasons why you're running for city council, and please tell us what makes you qualified to serve on the council.
The 2 reasons, or two reasons, I have always believed my parents have instilled in me from a young age that part of our responsibility as a human being is to serve our community to the best of our ability. And some can do more than others, and it's to each his own. But I feel that I have a responsibility to the community that I live in, to be a part and to help in the best way possible. The second reason I feel that I can bring some of my business experience, knowledge to the council to help make wise financial decisions. We are custodians of the taxpayers' money, as far as spending that tax money wisely in operating the city and making it better for everyone here. My qualifications, like I stated before, I've got 30 years in banking. I've got a bachelor's degree from Austin College in Sherman. I have a master's in accounting from University of Texas in Dallas, UT Dallas in Richardson. I have served a term here on the council. I've served on several of the nonprofit boards here. I've tried my best to each and every person that lives in Van Alstyne. I'm almost there. There's still a few people that moved in that I haven't got to meet yet, but I hope that answers the question.
Just to make sure I understand the question correctly. 2 reasons why we're running, and what makes us qualified. Okay. All right, so 2 reasons why I am running. The first one is I see our current city leadership, and not just City Hall, the City Council, but people that work out in the CDC, the EDC. They're in sync. They're gelling. There's a common vision for the city, and there's cohesiveness in the way that they work together. And so when I see an open seat for city council, one without an incumbent, I see an opportunity to continue that, to be another puzzle piece in there that's going to help lead where Van Alstyne is going. And the second reason why I'm running is kind of my thoughts behind Van Alstyne. And maybe this is the perspective of a father that at some point, and also working with the youth, at some point we're going to pass this city off to the next generation. And so I see this open seat not as a position necessarily, but more as a stewardship that you are going to trust ultimately to somebody. And I just hope that whoever fills the position views it in that same light, and that that the city that we have today, great city that it is, great leadership that we have, but like any situation with people, there's opportunities for improvement with infrastructure being one of those issues. We have a responsibility to hand that off to our kids. So those are the two reasons why I'm running. My qualifications, so I have a bachelor's degree, again, in hospitality management from UNT. I'm TCEQ certified, so when we start looking at these infrastructure issues, maybe gives me a little bit of a different perspective to bring to the table, someone that's licensed by the TCEQ. And some of the other things that I do in my job is I work with businesses that are all the way to like a small mom and pop type of shop, multi-unit chains, and I support global initiative at the unit level. So when we're talking about businesses, I've experienced working from companies that are Marriott, Hilton branded hotels, local regional restaurant chains, and again, all the way down to independent operators who work really hard to ensure that they can put food on the table for their families. And so that's why I'm running for City Hall, and that is qualifications.
Okay, this next question is fairly long, so if I need to repeat it, please feel free to ask me to
Do we
repeat.
switch or do we continue in this arrangement?
I
went first.
So Robert should go first, and then we'll pass it back down, I'm sorry.
I left it on.
You ready? Okay. What is your experience in working or consulting with Van Alstyne city officials, such as the city manager, the police or fire chief? Have you ever had any issues in working with the city or city employees? And finally, please discuss your plans to bring unity between the citizens, the businesses, and the city's officials. That was a paragraph. These were not my questions, just the messenger.
Okay. Well, I have had the opportunity to work with all the officials that you've mentioned in my time with the council. I also, through my membership in the other organizations, which I basically got into immediately when I came to Van Alstyne, I also was able to meet with the government officials then as well. I feel like I've been able to work with them in just about every aspect. In a sense, it's unified in a sense that everyone has a common goal that we want to make Van Alstyne a better place to live, where there is always a difference of opinion. Just dealing with people, you're going to have difference of opinions, and there are different opinions as to how things need to be done, which is the truly right way, we're trying to work through some of those differences. Differing opinions are good in that, you can be solid on one stance and totally miss something else. So it's good to have varying opinions. What I feel that we need to do is open lines of communication are very important. The fact that the way that our government, I think that there are doors that can be opened to where we can bring more businesses into Van Alstyne. That has, in my time that's been here, I would like to have seen more businesses come into Van Alstyne. Some ordinances are more restrictive than others that prevent that. And I think we need to work to find ways to make it easier. I also would like to emphasize that the businesses that we have here, but primarily small businesses here in Van Alstyne, are vital to our community. Mom and pops open businesses, they raise their families. They've been here for years, generations. And one thing that I don't want is when the growth is coming, I don't want the people that are vital to our community now to be pushed out by new industry. So we need to find a way, and us as a council, we as a council have that responsibility to find ways to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Okay, so I'll repeat it.
Is it good?
Yes. We'll just go down and then go. Mayor, any question?
So you may have to repeat it, and I may ask you again. in
I'm going to
different
give you the
parts.
highlights here, and then I'll go over it. Experience, issues, unity. All right? What is your experience in working with or consulting with Van Alstyne city officials, such as the city manager, police, or fire chief? Have you ever had any issues with the city or city employees? And please discuss your plans to bring unity between the citizens, the businesses, and the city officials.
Okay, I'm going to answer the middle part first. Have I had issues with city officials? The answer is no. So, the first part, check that out. The first part, in regards to have I had experience dealing with city officials? Working with city?
consulting.
Yeah, so, in part of my campaigning and after throwing my name in the hat to run for this position, it's important for me to meet the department heads and just more so from an understanding perspective, so I know what their day-to-day is like, and that I understand what their, maybe some of their potential challenges are within what they're able to legally say. So more so the conversations weren't able to go that way, but I more so just wanted to understand what their day-to-day was, what their relationship in terms of working with the council, and then also how, as a council member, we can support the efforts of each department. And the last part.
Your plans to bring unity between the citizens, businesses, and city officials.
Plans to bring unity. So I'm not too terribly aware of a whole lot of this unity. If there are those individuals within the city who maybe feel disenfranchised, who maybe don't feel like their voice is being heard, we have platforms for that. I highly encourage anybody who feels like they're in that situation to please voice your concern, because you're an important part of this community. You're a voter, you're a taxpayer, and that in itself makes you invested. We highly encourage you to participate and vote your concerns, but also voice your concerns.
So I've dealt with virtually every city official. Well, I've dealt with virtually every city official in Van Alstyne, either while sitting on the Parks Board with with Steeler Public Works Director, or working with the different ordinances for Keep Van Alstyne Beautiful for the last 3 years. I can't think of anyone in City Hall that I don't personally know and have done a lot of different things with. So that's definitely, I know them all. I also, to expand it a little bit further, I also have great relationships already with the different cities around us. When Frank Baker asked me to speak, to be his program at Rotary, I really didn't even really know what the Rotary was. And I spoke about Carrie's Coffee Co., the growth of Van Alstyne that I saw happening, and I felt a lot of love in that club too. They asked me to, Bob Bishop actually sponsored me to join the Rotary, and so now they've made me the president-elect for 2017. So in the Rotary Club, we get to meet virtually every single person that you call an official, I guess. I call them servants personally. And we get to talk a lot about what the different towns are doing. All of the different presidents of the different EDCs and chambers of commerce and that sort of thing are on that. And so yeah, I've worked very, very closely with all of the city officials in virtually every capacity, including the Chamber of Commerce when I sat on that board, helping get things through City Council. And as far as Unity goes, I'm actually running on Unity. That is the whole plan. I'm committed to the community and I'm dedicated to the unity. And I do know that there has been some disunity in the past, and I don't. I feel like that I'm sort of a bridge to that. I have a much different perspective than a lot of people that have lived here because I'm sort of new. But I have a massive knowledge of the history. If you just type in Van Alstyne history, that's my website, and I've been studying Van Alstyne history for the past 3.5 years. So I have a lot of knowledge about what it takes to unify the town, and I think I'll be good at it. Did I get all the questions?
I believe so. This is another paragraph, so prepare.
Mic on mute.
Are you good now? Okay. In an organization such as the City of Van Alstyne, there have to be procedures and rules of order requiring each member to be a team player. Do you consider yourself a team player who will follow process and procedures, or will you seek to change policy and procedure or make your own rules? I did not, I promise, I did not spend all day writing these questions. These were from the community.
I feel I'm a team player. I've never really had any sort of issues with anybody that I can think of off the top of my head. I guess what I think about in terms of making sure that you're following procedures and you're following policy, really it comes back down to service and service with integrity. And when I think about my time serving in First Baptist Church, what I tell folks, what I tell Griff, who's previous youth pastor, and Jace, who's our new youth pastor, is I'm just here to serve. And so that's kind of my stance, and that's my, kind of my, for lack of a better term, motto when I'm serving anybody in the community. So, yeah, I'm certainly a team player. I'm willing to put others before me. Even running for city council, I'm not really like the fact that I'm always at the forefront in terms of, on the side of praise or anything like that. I really look at the community and see it as a whole, and there's so many different organizations within Van Alstyne that do so many wonderful things, and it's great to see them work together. And so it's definitely a united way of moving forward. And so it's great to be even a potential candidate to be a part of that. But I'm looking forward to doing what I do at church and just starting and listening to you all and just doing what I can and doing my part.
Me? Okay. Right. So I'm pretty sure I remember your question. Of course, I'm a team player. Absolutely. Worked on a lot of different boards, like I mentioned earlier. So I guess I'm not really understanding the dynamics of the question, and it's kind of sort of a trick question, but am I sort of able to work together with everyone? And again, that's kind of what I'm running on, is the unity factor, and absolutely can work well. Although I certainly will stand up when I see something that I don't feel.
With him and kind of echo what these other gentlemen said. Yeah, it's fair. It's somewhere in the middle. You definitely don't want to be at the lower end where we're sitting geographically and where the opportunities are for us to help bring in new businesses to generate revenue. So yeah, we're right in the middle. We're in a good place. You don't want to be too high. You don't want to have that be a hindrance for entry in the market for new businesses or new developers. Because ultimately, it's not just looking at Van Alstyne. As Mr. Robert Jaskey said, there's other communities around where we're at, and to an extent, we have to view them, as neighbors, but ultimately they're also competition. And so when folks at the EDC are helping bring in new businesses, we have to have an eye to the fact that those businesses could be potentially looking at our neighbors. So being market competitive with our fees is incredibly important.
Would you ask what last floor? I know you've been saying that everybody. Would y'all like some more? Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. You would take one? One more question. What is your opinion on Van Alstyne's water and sewer rates, historic problems, and success for the future? Is the quality of water a concern? And if so, how does Van Alstyne address the issue?
Okay. I actually had hands-on experience at the last fiscal year end when we reviewed the budget. We reviewed the water and sewer rates. In prior fiscal year ends, there were questions as to how the rates were calculated, how they were retroactive, et cetera, et cetera. I think we got those concerns addressed. The water rate at this last fiscal year end, the rates increased. I believe it was 4.7%, but that was down from the prior, I believe, 3 to 4 years, at steady 7 to 10% increases each year. The fact that the rates continue to go up and not go down is based on the fact that the city's infrastructure is in dire need of repair and improvement. The staff that we have now is knowledgeable on what needs to be done to fix it. We are in compliance with the different regulations and whatnot. It is monitored constantly. Our water system, I believe, is as good or better than any of the communities around us. The problem is that when the population is increasing, there's going to be need for more water. And we have a contractual relationship to bring water up from Lake Levon that will be coming into the, to the south part of the town first. It's a joint relationship with the cities of Melissa, Anna, us, and Hal. Melissa has already begun using the water. To this point, we have not had to, but I feel that we are working to address the deficiencies we have in the system right now. Like I say, everything is within compliance, but we're trying to make it better. Unfortunately, we don't have excess funds there to go in and replace every water line that needs to be done, but we are addressing it as needed and a little more so. And with continued improvement in revenues to the city, I will assure you that I will do the best of my ability to make sure that that is continued.
Time's up. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm going to repeat the question.
Yeah.
Go back. Let me repeat. Okay. What is your opinion on Van Alstyne's water and sewer rates, historic problems, and success for the future? Is the quality of water a concern, and if so, how does Van Alstyne address the issue?
Okay, so the first part, water and sewer rates. Back in 2009, we bought a home in Anna before moving up to Van Alstyne, now to BTJ, and I remember being unhappy with that water bill just as much as I am with my monthly one at my house. But that probably has to do more with the fact that I probably water my lawn. My wife is really good at killing flowers by the water. So I can't speak specifically to the water rates in terms of how they relate to neighboring cities. That's something I can find out for you guys. What would be the other concerns in the question?
Historic problems, successes for the future, quality of water.
Okay, so historic problems, well, I hope I communicate this the way it's supposed to be communicated. I'm trying to recall. But there were some water lines that were laid and were not laid correctly with the proper insulation around them, to my understanding, which has caused some pinhole leaks with the old water piping. And so there's I don't know if those things have been addressed or if there's a plan in place to have those happen, but those are definitely concerns for water loss, which contributes to the rate increase of our water bills. And as far as adequate infrastructure, we have new growth in the city and we have some older parts of the city. And they probably have different levels of infrastructure. So replacing infrastructure is a very expensive proposition. So generating revenue through business growth will help us have the funds available in order to address those needs. Because everyone in Van Alstyne, I believe, as long as we have a plan in place, we're doing the right thing. But we need to try to ensure that everyone in Van Alstyne has the proper infrastructure in place. And kind of speaking to what Mr. Jassy was talking about with integrating water from Levon. Our current water supply is well water, soft water. As we incorporate new water, there's different concerns that you have to take into account with total dissolved solids and chemistry makeup of water. There's other things in water just besides water. And so as we, our engineering teams, is taking care of these issues, but as we look at different bodies of water and incorporate those into our water supply, those are just some things that we need to look at and be concerned about, be cognizant of moving forward.
So, does Van Alstyne have a historic water issue? So we were, again, founded in 1890. So yeah, we definitely. Fortunately, I wasn't here during the water crisis, as I like to call it. Shortly before we moved here, we heard some major sort of nightmarish type scenarios. I know that anybody who's familiar with the matter knows this. Fortunately, I was not sitting on city council or had anything to do with any of that. It sounded like it was a very difficult situation. I think that with the new meters that they put in, just recently, I think we've gotten along. Pretty much everybody in Mount Austin has the meter that is more accurate. I know that even last summer, there was a sort of major spike and people, were really kind of, calling City Hall and getting a little frustrated, and I may have been one of them as well, but they were able to actually give me a satisfactory answer, and so this is sort of a fine line, I guess. The water is definitely a subject that quality clearly, good quality water. Obviously, I'm in a coffee shop. I have to have good water. I think that as we sort of move forward in the growth of the town, everything will get much better. We're currently in the middle of pipe busting, or whatever the engineers call it, where we're replacing all of the different water and sewer lines. So if I were to say, that compared to Austin, yeah, they're probably pretty good. I've never lived in Anna or Howell, so I don't really know what their rates are up there. I'm not really, I couldn't really answer that accurately, but I think that it's fair that what we have now, and I think that Steve White's doing a really good job of replacing the stuff the infrastructure that was built in the 1890s and beyond. And so I don't really see any major issues. Did I get all the questions?
That's everybody, right? Okay. Now we're going to do what I like to call the speed round. So we have a little bit of time if you would like to ask a question from the audience, but we are going to shorten the time that the candidates have. So about 2 minutes max on the answer. So is there anybody in the audience who has a question for our candidates? And whatever question you ask, each candidate will have an opportunity to answer. Yes, Mr. Cooper. Oh,
I'm Gwen Ishmael. I'm a research and product development consultant. And it's a quick question. It's a projective technique, meaning it's planning in. If you were to choose one word to describe your vision of Van Alstyne in 5 years, what would that one word be, and why did you choose that word?
I have completely lost track of whose turn it is, so y'all can fight over it. However we want to go about this.
Vision for Van Alstyne in 5 years, given in one word.
And why?
One word. All right. I would have to say cohesive would be what I would give as my word for Van Alstyne moving forward here in 5 years. We have a lot of cohesion with our current city leadership. And we have a lot of cohesion with a singular vision currently. There's a lot of different people that work with our city manager, so our city manager wears a lot of different hats, and I feel like he does a really great job of wearing those hats and helping the EDC and helping our public works department, and serves our city council faithfully and loyally. And so when I think about 5 years from now, if there's any way that we could continue that cohesiveness and operate with a single vision. Corporately, you have a lot of different parts, but all those parts work together towards a common goal. And so that's why I would pick cohesive. Thank you.
So again, I'm running on Unity, and I'm going to use that one. And the reason why is because I think that when we all work together, we accomplish everything that we can possibly dream of. everything that we want Van Alstyne to be, we can do it together. So unity is my word.
My word would be improvement. I believe that Van Alstyne has a good foundation. There are plenty of different ways, different areas that we can improve this city to be better for everyone involved. I think that we need to take an approach like our school administration has done. Over a short period of time, it has lifted the school district from a subpar rating to an exemplary rating. I think that if we can do that with the city, show that much of improvement within 5 years, that would be a blessing. But I also believe that it's attainable, and it's just that we have to have everybody on board, we have to be focused, and we have to set reasonable goals and attain them to our ultimate goal of being the best city we can be.
We have time for one more question.
Mr. Nobles, in your introduction, you seem to emphasize your willingness to help small businesses. You also mentioned that you might have some differences in vision with Mr. Clough, and I was wondering, otherwise, what do you see as those differences, or do they still exist after the talks that we've had here?
So I'm not sure that's a question that is answerable by all of us, but I'm happy to give it a shot. I think that really the only difference is the experience. Like I said, I've worked directly with many of the downtown businesses. I've helped start a lot of downtown businesses. I've helped a lot of downtown businesses succeed. And I have, like I said, I have my finger on the pulse of the business community. So, I work downtown, I live downtown, my life is downtown in Van Alstyne. So I don't really know what it's like to not live, work, and play in Van Alstyne. I don't drive to anywhere else for my work, and like I said, I'm very in touch with the business community. So I think that's the main difference. And like I said earlier, we're not running against anybody. We both literally just kind of put our paperwork in at the same time, and we're both like, whoa, we got somebody, also interested in that seat, which I think is wonderful because it's been vacant for the last 9 months. And so really, sort of the main difference really is experience. And that's to me, that's it. I don't know if we can answer that same question.
Well, it's Jask's turn, right?
But you're not Mr. Nobles.
If I can, I'll talk about the small business aspect of it. I believe that small business is vital to a small community like Van Alstyne. I think that, let's see, what was the question?
Mr. Nobles.
Yeah.
It was actually, Mr. Nobles mentioned small business, right up front as an emphasis that he wanted to make. But I was wondering, I thought he said that there were some differences, a couple of differences in the vision between Mr. Nobles and Mr. Clough. And so I was wondering what Mr. Nobles thought those differences might be, if they still exist after this conference.
Oh, okay.
Your vision of business.
Yeah, can I talk about my vision?
Yes, you can, because those were the rules. So.
Okay. All right, my vision in Van Alstyne, I would like to see, I'll tell you, I work for a family that has been here since the founding of the city of Van Alstyne. I've heard the stories of Van Alstyne being the central hub of where people met all the small towns that people would come to Van Alstyne to shop, to interact, the different amenities that the city had. I would love to see all of our buildings full of small businesses here in our town. I would also like to see it, expand. We've got the west side there that is prime opportunities to bring commercial, industrial, manufacturing, whatever, that will bring revenue to the city. Small businesses are key in bringing revenue into the city. It also brings jobs into the city. It brings opportunities. It brings families to our community. And we've got a good thing at Van Alstyne, and I think we need to keep it going.
So I guess a little bit more back to the original question. With elections, you're ultimately deciding between two people. You're making a decision on who you want to represent you, and of course, there's going to be some differences there. I couldn't speak to what the differences in vision that Paul has versus what I have, but you are electing one of two people, and we do have different business experiences, and we have different experiences just that got us here. I went to the University of North Texas, got a bachelor's degree, MTC EQ certified, so we started having some of those water challenges. That is something that's a little bit more in my wheelhouse. And then I work with my customers who are independent operators, multi-unit chains, and support corporate initiatives at the unit level. So I definitely have that experience working with small businesses as well, and it's been a profession for the past 5.5 years. Thank you.
That's all we have for this evening. We still have refreshments out in the lobby. Please grab a cup of coffee and 6 cookies on your way out. I believe that the candidates may be around for just a little bit if you have any other specific questions that you'd like to visit with them. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, candidates. But I will say this. My police officer is going to want to lock this building up at 9 o'clock, and if I have to pay him overtime, I'm going to do my best to raise taxes and I'm kidding. But if you would like to stick around for just a few minutes and visit with the candidates, you are welcome to. Thank you for coming to the college. I don't know, Brenda, do you have something else that you'd like to say this evening, or do we?
I just want to thank everybody. I know during the week it's kind of hard to get out and do things, but I do appreciate your time. I hope this has given you some knowledge about the candidates, that when you go to vote, you can vote intelligently and have something, background on all these guys. We did the best we could. We got questions from folks, and we tried to take a few questions off of each sheet that we got. Couldn't get everybody's questions. A lot of them were the same questions, so we just compiled it and everything. So I think everybody did a great job. I do thank you candidates for showing up. We needed you up here. So again, thank you all. And we have a lot of stuff coming up with the chamber, and I hope y'all will check our Van Alstyne Chamber Facebook. Keep up with what's going on. We're trying to get a few things going, and have some things going on so that we can promote the town and get people into town and coming into your stores. That's what we're trying to do. It's all about our, yes, sir.
Tell everybody that they need to vote.
Well, yeah.
Voter turnout.
Exactly.
Terrible.
I know, and it's historically been that way. So I hope we can change it this year. It's, there's people over there fighting so that we have that opportunity. So don't let them down, do your part, so.
And this is your polling place, so you can't say you don't know where to go.
You've been here now. So again, thank you all.
So what are the dates of early voting and the actual?
May 25th. Early voting.
April 25th.
April 25th, 5 to.
Don't ask me the times. I
It's
just
8
know
to 5.
that it's a long
It'll
day.
be in Van
25th
Alstyne
to
leader.
29th.
Oh, there you go.
We'll get it all set up for you. It'll be good to go.
We'll make
make sure it's on.
Yeah, and we'll get it on our chamber Facebook page, but please check us out, see what we're doing. We are trying to do some things. Go vote, have a great night, and we'll see you guys later.